This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Let's talk about the next match. Yet two more performers who are no longer there. Alberto Del Rio is going to retain the U.S. title, beating Jack Swagger in a chairs match. They go 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Meltzer says it's hard to build a match around chair shots, but once you've seen about 3, it becomes redundant. And that's always been the problem in a chairs match. And this was no different, but the guys worked hard and made it into a good match. He actually liked it. He gave it 3.25 stars. He would say that eventually Del Rio rammed Swagger's leg into the post and followed with 4 hard chair shots to the back, which left marks. Del Rio then used his double foot stomp off the top, and Swagger was driven into a bunch of chairs on the mat. Del Rio gets the pin. A lot to unpack here. We'll talk about the performers in a moment, but first, what does Arn Anderson think of a chairs match?
How many ways can you hit a guy with a chair?
Yeah.
Each time has less and less impact. I'm not talking about physically. I'm talking about mentally on the audience. You get to a point to what is really hurting folks. You talk about leaving marks on a man's body. That's because it hurts like hell.
Yeah.
It's a steel chair. You don't believe it? Get on all fours and let me hit you one time. You will. That goes for you too, Conrad. I'm happy to do that for you anytime. You will change the way you view the industry and the way you view chair shots. It's a kill shot. It's a steel chair. And I just think these guys are good enough performers, certainly very good performers. They didn't need a chair to have a match. And it's one of those that you're going to just let them have the same match without the chair shots. You would have got the same product.
Well, but unfortunately we're locked in now to the TLC branded pay-per-view. So we've got a whole card filled with gimmicks, which we've beat up a lot. Let's talk about Alberto Del Rio. We know what Jack Swagger's going on to do. He's a legitimate badass, undefeated in MMA, still doing his thing with Bellator. And Del Rio has recently made some headlines for getting himself in a little bit of trouble with the law. And I think, there's been some latest developments in that. Of course, you and I aren't lawyers and we weren't there. So hope it works out and everybody is okay and justice is served, whatever that may be. But Del Rio once upon a time felt like a can't miss prospect. Why don't you think it ultimately didn't work out?
Well, one of the pit stops, and when he was really doing well, was he smacked, I think, one of the writer's assistants or something backstage for disrespecting him.
Yeah, allegedly one of the writer's assistants made some sort of joke when someone asked him to clean up, and he said, "Why don't we get Del Rio to do it?" And maybe it was some sort of, I think Del Rio believed it was some sort of a quote unquote Mexican joke. And he didn't think,
racial.
Yes. He didn't think it was funny at all. And it got heated. And, yeah, there was some physicality there. And, I'll let you tag back in.
Well, number one, how well do you, whoever this gentleman was, how well do you know Alberto Del Rio? Do you know him well enough to have slept over at his house?
Right.
Have you taken his family somewhere when the car was broke down and they needed a ride? And what would lead you to believe you could make a comment like that to a virtual stranger?
Right.
Even one of your buddies would have looked at that and said, "Hey man,
what's up with that?
Watch your mouth."
Yeah.
So it was what it was. The worst part of life today is this, politically correct thing that we all live under, mantra. I'm sorry. In that day and time, on that particular afternoon, you said something you shouldn't have done. And you should have, when you saw that what it did to the individual, you should have apologized 100 times if that's what it took, just because it was the right thing to do. Because apparently it struck a nerve with Alberto. But the fact that you got smacked, you're very fortunate, my friend. That could have ended very badly for you. And that's just my opinion of that.
Del Rio, though, you know, he's going to be a pretty controversial figure at different times. What was your experience like working with him?
Well, you know, I hated to see when he was online and he was burying everybody and, you know, fighting back with, you know, all the things that he felt about different people. I know there was a lot, when you involve a lot of booze and other things, people are not themselves.
Right.
They become somebody else. I had nothing but pleasurable experiences with Alberto. He was a guy that I could say, hey, your work would be a little better if you tried this. This was great. This was good. This not so good. Let's move this. And he would not be offended being a veteran. He always took that creative criticism the right way. I had nothing but pleasurable experiences. It did alarm me to see that he was online and going on record and really some harsh comments towards the people and the company, because you just knew the person I knew wouldn't be doing that unless there were other things involved. And I think that's probably what got the best of him at the time. And it's hard to do. I mean, it's easy to do, who knows? I just hope that, like you said earlier, things shake out, you find out the truth, and whatever the truth is, things are all put right.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money, it's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.